out. So the HomePod Mini is the £99 or $99 smart speaker addition to their singular range of lineup, which is the HomePod, and it's a magnificent sounding smart speaker that's only 8.5 centimeters tall. It is incredibly small, but it has this room-filling 360-degree computational audio thing that makes it definitely worth buying. Typical Apple, this device is really easy to add to your line of Apple products or devices or in your Apple ecosystem. And when you plug it in, it automatically gets added to your Home app. And also, speaking of the Home app, there's actually a new version which has this Discover tab in it. And it gets to show you about the different ways of using your smart home devices, different scenarios and different scenes that it can be used on. Let's be honest, a lot of people haven't jumped in yet into the smart speaker sort of systems available because the slots, and they've been around for many years now, because of security and privacy, Alexa. But this is very different with the Apple devices, and the HomePod Mini is no different. Security and privacy is a massive thing for Apple, so the only thing that this device is actually listening to is for the that you say, and anything else gets put on one side. So you don't have to worry about you guys gossiping or talking about what you're going to be shopping next, and then it's going to pop up on your ads. Now let's jump into one of the most intriguing things about the Apple HomePod Mini, and that is the sound quality. Now I'm going to tell you, this bad boy sounds amazing. Speaking of amazing, it will be amazing if you guys give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying this video so far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now there's lots to discuss about the HomePod Mini's quality, the HomePod Mini sound quality. So I've broken it down into little parts. There's chapters in this video if you know some of it already, but I suggest you watch it all the way through because I'm going to show you right all the way until the end why the HomePod Mini might be your next smart speaker. So how does this room-filling audio work? Got two words for you: computational audio. So what is computational audio? In simple terms, it's a waveguide, an acoustic waveguide that sends it out from the bottom of the speakers, and it basically gives itself an idea whether it's too loud or too soft on specific parts of the track that you're listening to. So suppose what it does is it just ensures that your music sounds amazing all the time. Now the S5 chip is the same silicon chip found in the Apple Watch Series 5 it first came out on, and it enables the computational audio that I mentioned earlier. What it does is it processes the audio in real time, so it balances and fine-tunes what you're listening to, and again, like I said, it just makes it sound amazing. Unfortunately, that's not something that we can measure or have a metric for, so we don't have any sort of real-life test that we can offer you, but all I can say is I've been listening to the HomePod Mini for a few days now, and the sound quality is terrific, and it also is amazing in any volume that you listen to. Well, to my surprise, this 8.5 centimeter speaker packs a lot of bass, and Apple said it's because of this force cancelling passive radiators. I don't know what that means, but I played a lot of different songs from old school hip hop all the way to, you know, the new school sort of trap music, and it really does pack a punch. So very good bass for something that doesn't have a dedicated woofer. Even with the original HomePod, and including the HomePod Mini, I was very surprised about how good the noise cancellation is. You can actually say from far away and whispering, and it would actually hear you. And it's because they have these tiny microphones that's constantly listening just for that phrase. And like I said, you could be, as long as you're in the same room, even if you whisper, it would still hear you. So that means I don't have to go all the way next to the speaker just to be able to say when you're let's say, in the middle of playing a loud music, or you're across the other side while you're cooking, you want to change the music or send it another command, you can just speak normally and it would hear you. It really is good. I've done a lot of tests of it myself. Some of it my kids did and they were amazed about how clever it is. Now, the stylish look that this HomePod Mini possesses is something that was taken from its bigger brother, the HomePod, and also has this really nice mesh fabric. I think this round thing is really cool, but it's still elegant and classy at the same time. You can put it on any worktop surface, and depending on the color that you pick, as this is available in white or space gray, it will either blend in or stand out as you intend it to. Either way, it's a great looking piece of furniture. Now, if you want to actually have a look, you can preview exactly what this is going to look like without even owning or buying one. Now, if you go to the Apple website, you can actually have an augmented reality or AR preview of the HomePod Mini to see how it will look on your actual furniture. So what you have to do is go into the Apple website and using your iPhone or your iPad and click the Use AR to see the HomePod Mini, and this is a super cool way to see how it would look on different parts of your house. The touchscreen is very nice too. It looks very well designed but still very functional. You can single press to pause and play music. You can double tap and skip the song. You can triple tap as well to play the beginning of the song or play the previous track. Now, I know Marques didn't like the fingerprints on the HomePod Mini on the touch surface, and that's true, but come on man, we're in 2021. You shouldn't have to use your fingers anymore for giving commands to something like this. You can just say. Now, surprisingly, a lot of people still do not use this function, even when the old HomePod was available. But it's one of those things that once you've started to get the hang of it, it works extremely well. It becomes natural, it becomes like an instinct. So handoff is the ability of a user to transfer their music from their phone to the iPad and vice versa. Let's say you just got back from your morning run and you wanted to continue the music from your iPhone to your HomePod Mini, then you simply bring your iPhone next to your device, you give it a tap or you put it on top of it and it transfers the music, and vice versa. Like I said earlier, you can also pull the music away from the device by tapping your iPhone into this smart speaker and then pulling it away. Now, when they first announced it, I thought it was one of those features that was very cool, but I didn't think it was going to be useful. But since the update was made, I actually thought it was quite good. I was using it for basic things. Let's say I've just gone to the newsagents or something, or went food shopping, and then I wanted to say I'm on my way home to everyone to get the dining table ready. It works really well for that one, you know, for things that you don't necessarily need a response. Or let's say if I put one in the kids' bedroom and let's say I was going to call them because dinner was ready or something along those lines, then it actually works really well. So how about you? Do you use the intercom? Is it something that you think is very useful, or is it another Apple gimmick like many of the gimmicks that people come up with? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, this is actually quite a cool thing to discuss because all the other reviews of the HomePod Mini that I've seen has not mentioned any of this. Apple mentions on their website that it will provide personalized listening suggestions that will appear automatically on your iPhone, or you know, when you put it near the HomePod Mini. This could prove to be a really cool feature, but obviously we'll see when it comes out. A lot of people can ask, is the HomePod Mini actually really useful for everyday tasks? Yes, it is. I would also like to admit that it's nowhere near as intelligent as is competition sort of smart speakers. We're talking about the Amazon Alexa and the Google Home. They're far smarter than the Siri built into the speakers. But for everyday tasks, this is really, really clever. So some of the things that I use this for is for, let's say, setting up timers. And the cool thing is you can actually name your timers. Say, set up a timer for my coffee. Or you can say, set up a timer for my potatoes. And what will happen is when the alarm goes, Siri will tell you what that alarm is for. So it's quite useful, especially because we got several people at home that use the timers. The last thing you'd want is a timer going and you don't know whose timer it is. Another feature that you may not know the HomePod or the HomePod Mini has is the ability to actually identify the user that's actually speaking to it. So that means you won't just be able to send messages from your own self without having to identify yourself every single time, but you'd also be able to play music. So let's say if you wanted to say, play my favorite songs, it's going to play the songs of the person that has obviously asked for it rather than the main person that's on the device. So it's a clever little feature that I use quite a lot of. Some of the other really useful tasks that I use Siri for are finding my iPhone or pinging it rather than hunting for it all the time, lost under your sofa, sending text messages or doing audio calls, setting reminders based on a time of a day. I can actually do a separate video for that because that's a very powerful feature. And some of it I've discussed in this video here, so have a look at that. Asking for directions or traffic information, and also adding certain things to a food shopping or a grocery list or any custom list. Again, another video that might be worth doing. I use this a lot, like I really use it a lot. So let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video about how to make really good use of your HomePod or HomePod Mini. Not just for turning on and off my Philips Hue, but you can set custom moods or what they refer to as scenes. I use Siri to, turn on specific things. Let's say if I'm doing my YouTube videos, I have a particular setup and I just say it's eat, sleep, tech, repeat time. It would change the color of this to a particular color and the color of this lamp to a particular color. So you can do that. Let's say it's eating time. Then it sets the dining room lights to a particular color, to a particular level of brightness. Again, another video to make. Let me know in the comments. And there's only one thing I don't really like about the HomePod Mini, and it's the fact that when you purchase a space gray HomePod Mini, they supply a white brick to go with it. It doesn't really make any sense. It would have made better sense if they actually supplied a same color supposed cable or probably a space gray plug. That would have been quite cool, actually, a space gray plug. Another missed opportunity that I think maybe could have been done. I don't know anything about electrics or electronics, but the USB-C, it could have made it as possibly a portable speaker to go with your MacBook Pro. So when you're out and about, you should be able to plug it in and work that way. But unfortunately, I've tested it and you get a blinking orange light out of the HomePod Mini on the top of the surface. I can only assume it's because it's not enough, it's not generating enough power. So maybe it's a feature that they missed out on. I'm not entirely sure. What's your thoughts? Let me know. So what do I like the most about the HomePod Mini? Number one is the size. I think it's an excellent sort of size. It's not obstructive, but at the same time, it's still, when you see it, you go like, whoa, that's kind of cool. Oh, you can say, oh, that's a HomePod Mini. So I really like the size and the weight of it. Not that you're going to carry it around anyway, but I'm just saying that you'd be able to put it in places where you couldn't normally put the original HomePod in or on. Obviously, as most people, one of the many considerations about the HomePod Mini is the price. And I think it's excellent for me because I'll be honest with you, I would love to be able to have a HomePod in every room of my house. The kitchen, the conservatory, obviously the dining room, and a separate one in the front room and in the office as well. But that's going to be a lot of money. $99 on the other hand, maybe. We'll ask the missus if we're allowed to buy another one. Let me know in the comments below. If we get enough likes and comments, we'll be able to get her to buy me another one. So obviously a few questions left. And one of the big questions I've been asked really is, who is the HomePod Mini for? I think it's for those people, let's say you're new to the smart speaker game. You've never had a smart speaker and you're worried about whether it's going to do something for you. Again, it's not going to be as smart as the Google Home or the Amazon Alexa, but if you've never had a smart speaker before, you're not going to have that comparison anyway. And because it's such an amazing sound quality for a small speaker, 8.5 centimeters, it's going to be a fantastic first smart speaker for you. And obviously, speaking of sound quality, it goes without saying, it's good for people who are sort of focused on their sound quality. So let's say you have a bunch of Apple devices and you wanted, instead of your Google Home or Google Alexa, you know, those small dingly ones, you can buy one of these and improve the sound quality. Oh, it's superb. It doesn't even compare. Or maybe you're just an Amazon or a Google Home user and you just want a more secure and something with better privacy, then this is probably for you. Obviously, it's also very important to discuss why you shouldn't buy the Apple HomePod Mini. Let's say number one, very important, if you don't have any or very little Apple devices at home, you're not going to benefit much from this sort of system. It's really geared towards current Apple users. Obviously, you know, Apple being Apple, they're marketing this kind of really cool stuff to make you dive in and you know, get drowned into the Apple ecosystem. And lastly, it's not for the people who already own an Amazon Alexa sort of device, like the Amazon Echo or a Google Home, and you're perfectly happy with it because they're great devices. They sound okay, they're not terrible. They won't be as good as this, but if you're happy with those devices, then you don't have to spend the money on this. So the last question is, should I get the original big old HomePod or the HomePod Mini? Obviously, having a small form factor will have its drawbacks. You can't fit the same amount of drivers and woofers and all those really cool stuff that's going to make it sound better to this little 8.5 centimeter speaker. So, you know, the HomePod is going to sound far, far better. So if sound quality is something that you're looking for, or if you have a massive room that you have to fill, you have lots of parties, or you're just an audiophile, then go for the HomePod. So bear in mind, it will not have the same quality as the larger HomePod and doesn't have the dedicated woofer. And also bear in mind that the larger HomePod has also got 7 tweeters. So this will not be a good comparison of the sound quality. It's like, I suppose, comparing, you know, Apple to a larger Apple. Now, the HomePod Mini doesn't also have the spatial awareness capability where it actually can figure out where it is in the room, so it throws sort of higher decibels in the right areas to make sure that your quality of audio is perfect regardless of the placement in the room. Then, you know, if those things don't bother you, then the HomePod Mini is going to be for you and save yourself a lot of money, really. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this would help you to identify whether the HomePod Mini is something that you should buy or not. I think for the $99 price point, it's magnificent. It's very well worth it. Yeah, you could probably say, oh, I can buy 3 Google Home Minis for that, but the sound quality is the major factor for this. And if you have a lot of Apple devices and then you want to get into the smart speaker system sort of configuration with your smart home devices, this is a very good product for you. But what do you think? Are you convinced that this is a speaker for you? Do you think it's overpriced? Is it not going to be useful for what you need it for? Let me know in the comment sections. I always reply and discuss with my audience because I love hearing what people have to say. And again, you know, any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching the video and we will see you on the next one.